Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is Real Crime Uncovered. There is a well-known saying that whatsoever goes up must surely come down. Another goes thus: 99 days for a thief, 1 day for the owner. And then this one goes: whatever has a beginning must surely have an end. Today's story is surrounding the saying 99 days for a thief, 1 day for the owner. Sometime on the 4th of August 1984, a young boy was born in Erua, Irapa East local government area of Oyo State. That little boy was named Timothy. His full name is Timothy Adegoke. Timothy had his primary school in Ifelodun Primary School, and he proceeded to enroll his high school at the Baptist Model High School, all in Oyo State. He then proceeded for his tertiary education at a polytechnic in Ibadan, after which he enrolled for the mandatory National Youth Service Corps in Abuja. When Timothy was done serving, he secured a job with Siemens Winston, a Chinese company that deals in granites and other stones. He rose to the rank of Director of Finance of Siemens Winston. And like every other person who desires growth in their careers, Timothy enrolled for an MBA, a master's program at the Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU. And in November 2021, he traveled to Osun State, where he was to sit for one of the exams that will qualify him to obtain his master's degree. Timothy was said to have flown from Abuja to Akure, and he traveled by the road from Akure to Ile-Ife. When he arrived, he lodged in a hotel, checked in, and then called his wife on the 5th of November 2021, same day he traveled to Ile-Ife. He called his wife, had a chat with his wife, informed her he arrived safely and had even lodged and checked into an undisclosed hotel. They were supposed to speak again later that day, but Timothy did not call his wife, and she deliberately did not call him because she felt he had traveled all day, he needed to rest, and also he had an exams to write the next morning. He will probably use the time to read. So she thought it would be better to speak with him the next morning, which was going to be 6th of November 2021. So she waited till that morning. And on the 6th of November in the morning, she put a call through her husband's line. It rang and rang through without any response. Again, she thought he probably was brushing up before his exams, or he may have even gone into the exams hall already. So she left that call to be made again in the afternoon, when she presumed he would have finished writing the paper for that day. Sometime in the afternoon, she started getting worried because her husband had not returned her call. Neither did he send a message to acknowledge her calls in the morning. So again, she put some calls through her husband's line, and just as it happened in the morning, the calls rang throughout without any response. And you know how it is when you are deeply connected with a person. You get to sense when there is trouble. Now that awful feeling of trouble, she began to feel it, that all wasn't well with her husband. Now, Timothy's wife did not hesitate to contact some of his relatives to inform them that her husband had not been taking his calls. And out of the people she called, one decided to speak with some contacts he had in Ile-Ife and asked if they could go to Moro, where the Distant Learning Center for OAU was sitting for the exams. And these delegates obliged them. They went to the center where the exams were being held. These delegates obliged them and went to Moro, where the OAU center was sitting for the master's exams. Now we're talking of Sunday now, on the 7th of November 2021. When they got to the center, they approached the coordinator, who did not hesitate to bring out the attendance list for Saturday and Sunday, talking about 6th and 7th of November. He went through the attendance list for Saturday, and shockingly, Timothy's name was visibly absent on the list. Same with Sunday. None of those lists had Timothy's name therein. Now, their fear was becoming even more real, because it had just been confirmed that the exams which Timothy left Abuja to write or to sit for, he had not been a part of any of those exams. So the question arose, where could Timothy be? What could have happened to Timothy? The management of the OAU Distant Learning Center immediately reported to the police, and the chairman of Hoteliers Association in Osun State was also contacted so he could speak with his members to inquire if they had a guest in any of the hotels who had the name Timothy Adegoke. But there was no positive response that turned up from any of the hoteliers. The police at this point had already begun their investigation. Now, even though Timothy's wife knew that her husband had lodged in a hotel, he told her he had checked in, but he did not tell her the name of the hotel where he was lodged. So it became a little bit difficult identifying the exact hotel where Timothy had lodged. However, that missing link, that lacuna, was going to push Timothy's wife to look for evidence or anything at all that could help in the investigation to find where her husband was. So she began to check previous documents of his travel, and she discovered a receipt from his penultimate visit to Osun State for one of his exams, and the receipts had on it the name Hilton Hotel. That was where he lodged the last time. Now, that was a good place for them to begin with. So they put a call through the hotel, talking about the police, and because that piece of information was related to the police, and the police decided to run with that piece of information to further unravel details as to where Timothy was. The police put a call through Hilton Hotel, and they denied ever having a guest like that within that period. The police did not just stop at the call. They made a visit, a physical visit to the hotel, where they met with Mr. Ramon Adedoyin, the owner of the Hilton Hotel and Resort. Mr. Adedoyin confidently told the police that they had no guests bearing Timothy Adegoke within the duration of time that they were talking about. Of course, the police left, but the wife again, in looking further, discovered her husband had made a transfer of 37,000 naira to a lady's account bearing Adesola. That piece of information again she related to the police, and the police thought this was another clue that could help in our investigation. So the police began tracking the number. Guess what, guys? They tracked that number, that phone, to Hilton Hotel and Resort in Ile-Ife. The owner of that phone turned out to be Adesola, a receptionist at the Hilton Hotel. Intriguing, right? Or even interesting. Now, the police did not hesitate to arrest Adesola. After they arrested Adesola, they began interrogating her, and the interrogation led to a confessional statement. Adesola's confessional statement would lead to further arrests, and those that were arrested thereafter included Chief Ramon Adedoyin himself, the owner of the hotel, the manager of the hotel, the supervisor, and others, making a total of 6 persons in the police custody. Just before we proceed on this story, have you liked our page on Facebook yet? No? Why? Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel? Oh, come on, why? Please, if you're watching this on Facebook, please hit the like page and follow our page on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you'll be the first to know when next we put out a story. Now let's get right back into the story of today. Now, after the police arrested all the suspects, some were not found to be arrested, and that includes the son of Chief Adedoyin, who was the managing director of the hotel at the time of the incident, and he is still at large. During further investigation, after the 6 suspects were arrested by the police, the most shocking details eventually unraveled, and that was that Timothy Adegoke actually lodged on the 5th of November 2021 at the Hilton Hotel, and he made payment to the receptionist's private account, which was what the wife discovered that aided the investigation that led the police to tracking the device of the receptionist. Now, that single act was going to solve the entire mystery behind the missing Timothy Adegoke. It was in this line of investigation that confessions began to pour in. The receptionist, Adesola, who was first arrested by the police during the investigation, disclosed to the police that on Saturday morning, there were several knocks on Timothy's room, which was said to be room 35, and there was no response. She claimed she wasn't the one who gave him the room on the 5th when he first lodged in. She claimed she had just taken over on Saturday morning, being 6th of November 2021. So when Timothy did not respond to open his door, she claimed again she had to use a spare key to open his door. And when the door was open, she said she saw him lying lifeless on the floor, wrapped up in a duvet. And then she called the other staffs of the hotel, who thereafter informed the owner of the hotel, and he told them his son was going to handle the situation. Soon, the suspect revealed that Timothy Adegoke had died natural death in his hotel room. And when they discovered him to have died, instead of reporting to the police as it should be, they decided to handle it their own way. They wrapped him up in a duvet, disposed his body at night at a different location from the hotel, and there they dumped his body alongside his laptop, his phones, and his other belongings. And they thought they had covered all their tracks. They tampered the footage of the CCTV between the moment Timothy walked into that hotel and when they moved his body out of the hotel. It was after all these details unraveled that these people were charged to court. Now, their trial went on since that moment up until May 2023. While delivering judgment on the 30th of May 2023, Justice Ojo, the Chief Justice of Osun State, found Chief Ramon Adedoyin and 2 other of his staff guilty of murder and conspiracy for murder. He therefore sentenced them to death by hanging. The other suspects were found guilty of other charges, but not guilty of murder and conspiracy to commit murder. During the judgment delivered on the 30th of May by Justice Ojo, the receptionist Adesola was not given her sentence. That was reserved for Wednesday, being 31st of May 2023, and her sentence has just been pronounced. She was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. The internet went agog the very moment news broke on the judgment of the High Court concerning this matter. Many people were excited that justice has been served. There were several opinions in that direction because many felt that it is not every day in Nigeria that the common man finds justice. This, they thought, is one of those that deserves to be celebrated, seeing that a common man has finally been granted justice in this matter. It must be a huge relief for the family of Timothy, his friends, his classmates, his colleagues, and his loved ones generally, seeing that justice has indeed been served. Now, what many consider justice may not be seen as so by others. There's another divide that thinks otherwise. We extracted very few of the comments of celebrations from the internet where people express joy that justice has been served, and you can just see through the comments people made randomly on the outcome of this case. Others are wondering, will Chief Ramon Adedoyin appeal the judgment of the High Court, or would he let the law take its course? But like we all know, he has a right of appeal. All the convicted have a right of appeal. It is up to them whether or not to appeal the judgment of the High Court. If they choose to do so, we would follow closely the appeal and the outcome of same and update you as well when the appeal court delivers their judgment, if indeed an appeal goes through. Before we round up today's story, we just want to send our condolence to Timothy Adegoke's family. May God continue to comfort you. May God continue to strengthen you. And thank you to Timothy's wife for paying attention to those little details that led to the unraveling of details that solve this whole case. I mean, I can only imagine if she didn't find the receipt bearing Hilton Hotel's name. How would this case have proceeded? Again, I'm wondering, what if she didn't find the transfer details of her husband where he made payment to the receptionist's personal account? What would have been the outcome of this case? These details, though appears very little, they change the entire course of this case and even the outcome that we have come to see today. This just goes to say that people should pay attention to the little details. Pay attention to every detail. It will matter. It could change the course of every narrative. It is very sad that a young man who set out to legitimately improve on his career met a devastating death in a place where he was supposed to be sheltered and protected. It's quite sad. It is quite sad. And we hope that many more crimes in the society will be uncovered daily. Even though we hope more for a society with no crimes. You know what I always say? It's a cold world out there, guys. It's a very cold world. Look out for yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of your emotions. Take care of your mental health. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to the people around you. And always, always stay safe. If you enjoyed following this story, please give us a thumbs up. Leave your thoughts in the comment section and do well to share this story. I remain Dorcas Ige Oluokun, and I love you.